Hey, hello and welcome. It's Brandon Sobotka, and this is Brand Backstage. Brand Backstage is where you get a behind the scenes answer to any comment, question, or concern that I receive throughout the week about brand building or entrepreneurship. And it's interesting because this week I was doing some Instagram stories, I was doing some Facebook stories, and I was reflecting just on the first month since I think Saturday was, or Friday maybe, was the 1 month anniversary of Brand Backstage. And in that process, I was just reflecting on and sharing some of the takeaways that I had from the first month. And one of the things I said was that I'm really appreciating answering the questions of the seemingly small but significant obstacles, roadblocks, hurdles, struggles that entrepreneurs experience in their day-to-day work. And the reason I bring that up is because I think that's what Brand Backstage really is all about. It's really just answering these seemingly small, a lot of times. And I say seemingly small because a lot of these questions are about the small steps that we have to get done, maybe on a day-to-day basis, maybe on a weekly basis, the small stepping stones that achieve the bigger milestones that then achieve the big wins. And so I think it's ultimately those a lot of times that really kill the entrepreneurial dream for people who are just starting. They create the roller coaster ride that occur for people who have been on the entrepreneurship journey for a while. They help. It hinders those who are on the rise and eventually fall, and it really can cause a lot of people to quit at some point in time. So it's just these little stepping stones a lot of times that affect those milestones that we need to hit that are so important in order for us to achieve the big wins, which is ultimately getting in front of people, new leads, new revenue, retaining clients, that type of stuff. So back to Brand Backstage, and here is the question I have for today. Question, comment / concern is building a business is hard. I mean, it's hard enough when you building a business is hard enough, but when you start comparing yourself to more successful brands online, it can kill your ambition. How do you not compare yourself to brands online? I think in general, it's human nature to compare ourselves. And I think will compare ourselves as long as we live. I think the big difference of those who compare themselves and get stuck, or it kills their ambition, and those who compare themselves and it doesn't really affect them, is the fact that they can compare and have no associated feelings with it. Or when I say no associated feelings that slow them down, right? Or deter them from the project that they're trying to achieve, or the goals that they're trying to reach. And I think you can see that a lot of times if you think about the successful entrepreneurs, when you listen to them, they're confident. They can get over problems. They can get over obstacles really quickly. They're not worried about what other people think in any way, shape, or form the majority of the time. And if they are, it's short-lived. It hits them. They're able to work through it pretty quickly and get right back on the boat, right? They're back on track. They're focused, and they're headed back forward towards that ambition, towards that goal, towards that dream, or that stepping stone, that milestone, whatever it is for them to achieve. And I actually think that's one of the biggest problems when it comes to comparing ourselves is the time and energy that it takes away from us, ourselves, right? When we're focused on others, we start to dwell, or we start to complain, we start to feel depressed, we start to feel frustrated, whatever that feeling is, and we live in that for a long time. And it drains our energy, right? So we're not as excited to do the things that we need to do to get done to move forward. And it takes a lot of time because, we're going to try and complain. We're going to try and get others to empathize with us. We're going to try and misery loves company, right? We're going to try and pull others into reaffirm our already bad thoughts that are going on. And in the grand scheme of things, what it ultimately turns out to be is a waste of time and energy because no one's going to care, right? So that's one big problem. The next big problem, I think, is when you are comparing yourself, I think it's a sign that there are some type of self-limiting beliefs that are there, whether it's one or multiple, and it's telling me that you're not ready. Not necessarily ready to go do the work, but you're not ready to achieve this stepping stone. And I say that because you haven't achieved it yet, right? So wherever you're comparing people, typically what happens is you're stuck in that thought of, why didn't I get this right? Or why are they there and I'm not, right? And when we're doing that, it's associated with some type of a feeling inside that is blocking us, right? Some type of insecurity, some type of fear, some type of anxiety, whatever it is, it's getting in the way, right? And so that's a problem that we want to overcome. And then the third one that I think stands out is we're being impatient. And I say that because I feel like when entrepreneurs that I've had conversations with speak of this, they think it should happen yesterday. And in doing that, a lot of times, especially if you're comparing yourself to someone else, it's almost like a slap in the face to that person. And I say that because I've experienced that, like, oh, how are you doing this? How are you able to do this or that, right? And, well, I put in years of time. And in those years, I put in months of work, days of work within those months, and hours every day, grilling and trial and erroring and learning and studying and repeating that process over and over and over, testing, trialing things, failing many a times in order to learn important lessons that get me finally past that milestone. So I think those are some of the problems that people get stuck in when it comes to comparing each other. And, the process to overcome that is exactly the opposite, right? The first one is focus on self and keep focused on self. The only time I think you should focus on others is to do what I was saying earlier, is to model them, right? If someone is ahead of you and you're comparing yourself, comparing where they're at and where you're at is fine as long as you don't beat yourself up and you recognize, wow, they got something that I don't have. Let me study that person and better understand how they got there, right? Go model their system, right? And I don't even like the word modeling a lot of times. Go learn their system and figure out what is their system really achieving, right? How are they doing it? And then use that almost as a framework to build your own. Find out the gaps. Fill those gaps in new and different and better ways. But my point is to focus on yourself and not others. So you're not wasting that time, energy, and resources that you need to continue to get over this stepping stone, right? To achieve this stepping stone so you can achieve that milestone, right? The second one is to be patient in that process. Sometimes you're going to figure it out like that. Other times it may take months. And in the grand scheme of things, it's dependent upon if it is the little stepping stone. The little stepping stones could take maybe months, usually probably weeks or days. That milestone may end up taking months and months and months. And the big win that you're ultimately achieving may take months or even years in order to achieve that big win. And when it comes to your ultimate dream, that's probably going to take years in and of itself. So be patient. Don't, what's the word? Don't rush things, right? One of the things that I would tell you is to commit, be persistent, be tenacious, and stay focused on that, and let your brain do that work, right? In that process of staying committed, staying persistent, staying tenacious, really is doing all the key fundamental things to take care of and let your brain do the work, right? Get rest. Don't be stressed in that process. Continue to learn and focus on that specific topic. So that's number 2, is be patient. And then number 3 is probably going to be your hardest one, but it will happen if you do the first 2 many a times, is to work on those self-limiting beliefs, right? Those self-limiting beliefs are killers, right? And in order to really get past that, we have to dig into ourselves. We have to reflect upon ourselves. We have to identify where that self-limiting belief is coming to, think about why that is, change that thought, and continue to put the right actions and thoughts into play repeatedly so that that self-limiting belief becomes less and less. Therefore, we become, less insecure. We spend less time and energy and resources thinking about others or comparing ourselves to others and complaining about others. And then in that process, we achieve things faster because we're not focused on others and we're not focused on these negative thoughts. And in the grand scheme of things, what happens? Well, you don't lose your ambition, right? Because you're excited about the next day. You're getting things done every day, and you're building that momentum up that then leads into long-term success and achieving the stepping stone, the milestone, the ultimate big win, and then the overall dream. So the biggest thing I could say is, in the grand scheme of things, is if you're having these thoughts of needing to compare yourself to others, then you have more work to do. That may mean more studying, more learning, more, all the things that we just mentioned. Putting more time and attention into yourself, putting more time and attention into the work. And in that process, naturally what's going to happen is you're not going to compare yourself anymore. Your authentic self will start to come out. Your strengths, your skills, and the experience that you've collected over the years will be in play every day, and you'll really start to resonate with that. And that's what a brand is built upon, is all of those things. So I hope that helps. That is my answer for how do you stop comparing yourself. Be patient. Focus on yourself and work on the work, the internal work, the external work, right? Study, listen, learn. Number 1, learn yourself, then learn your skill sets that you need to achieve what you need to achieve, right? Study your craft. So That's it for today. I hope that was a quality answer for you. If you need, if you know anyone who needs this, feel free to share it with them. Like, comment, and share below. And if you want to connect, hit me up at Brandon Sobotka. Email me directly. I'll be happy to answer any questions you got. And until next time, this is Brand Backstage. I'm out. Deuces.